Hi, this is Keith Gunther with Guys Talk Time in Ventura County. I'm also a sports reporter for the Ventura Breeze. And you know, sports here in Ventura County is so popular. You know, we have about 750,000 people in the county total. We've got over 50 sports being played at the collegiate, at the professional level, and also at a very high level where it's not collegiate or professional, be it skateboarding, BMX racing, surfing, kiteboarding. You know, I can just go on, the list just goes on. And you know, people always ask me, you know, why is Ventura County so successful in sports that are mainstream, sports like football, where there's over 60 players currently in Division I out of the small county that we have? Why are there so many players in baseball, in basketball, that go on to pros as well as in college? Well, it's because of the beautiful weather here in Ventura County. You know, here we are in June. The average temperature is about 70 degrees, the low is 60, the high is 72. That's why the weather is great, plus it's the volunteers. We have over 30,000 volunteers in this county, not just for sports, but for things like Boys and Girls Clubs and other community services. United Way, helping other people is what we're about here in Ventura County. Maybe it's because we enjoy so much what we've been given here with the weather, the waves, the beautiful mountains in the background, our rich heritage. 20, 30,000 years ago, the Chumash Indians lived here, and they enjoyed it so much that books were written about the island of the Blue Dolphin, their experiences living on the beach, where they didn't even have to wear jackets, they didn't have to worry about anything, they could just go out fishing. Well, there's still over 4,000 descendants of the Chumash living here along with the rest of us, and we owe to them finding this beautiful place to live. But today, in 2009, what do we talk about on Guys Talk Time? What are we talking about on the show today? We're talking about ways to coach and raise those kids, your boy or girl, in their sport. Doesn't matter what the sport is, you're going to have the same experiences. And today, we're going to talk a little bit about Dad Sense and Mom Sense. We're going to give you some tips on how to work with your young man or girl. Let's say your son is in Pony League Baseball. And let's say it's the top of the 9th inning, game's on the line, a little guy's up there to bat, and he's got 2 strikes, and he's got a ball or 2 against him. Now, you as a parent, you could be yelling and screaming, "Get a hit, Johnny, get a hit." You know, everybody else around you is yelling and screaming. Or you could just be very calm. You could place your hands, get his eye contact, because he's going to look at you eventually, especially if you're not going to yell at him. And you put your hands in a palms down position, and you slowly push them down and mouth to him, "Calm down, calm." That's all you got to say. And you just kind of mouth it. Then when he's done, let's say he doesn't get the hit. Let's say he strikes out, they lose the game. What can you say? Well, you know, try to avoid things that are condescending, like, "Oh, better luck next time," or "Gee, it wasn't your fault." Instead, say, "Hey, you did your best." Or you might want to give them the story that, you know, other kids struck out in the 1st and 2nd inning, and those strikeouts are no less important than yours, so it's a team effort. So don't feel bad about having that happen today, because you're going to have your moment in the sun. And of course, if he gets that hit, scores that winning run with his hit, then you run out there and you hug him and you jump up and down like they just won the World Series. And that's the key to Dad and Mom Sense when it comes to sports, is be supportive, be productive with that child. And what about expectations? Again, because I have sons, I have more experience with this, but let's say your son is a football player. Let's say he's an all-league offensive lineman as a junior. You want to encourage him, don't you? You want him to go on and be successful at his sport. Well, what's the best way to do that? Do you tell him, "Gosh, you're going to get a scholarship, you're going to play pro football"? Well, probably not, because you don't know. Very low percentages of that happening. Probably what's better is, say, "Son, let's take a look at where you're at today. Let's say you're 16 years old. Let's say you're 6'3". Let's say you're 230, 240. You can go on the internet. You can go to rivals.com. You can go to Cal High Sports. Do it together as a father-son, or as a father-daughter if you're softball or soccer with your daughter, and take a look at these players that are ranked nationally, because they're the ones that are going to be fighting with your son or daughter for a scholarship. Just take a realistic look at where they're at. Say, "Gee, what are their sizes? What are their weights? What is their 40 time? What are their strengths? What do they look like? Do they pass that eye test?" And your son can get a chance then to say, "Oh, gee, Dad, I need to gain some weight," or "Gee, I'm tall enough to do that," or maybe he might even say, "Gee, how do I go to the next step? How do I get recognized by these coaches? I'm really excited about football." Well, that's when you have that opportunity to be there and have some of that one-on-one time. Are you giving him delusions of grandeur? No, of course not. But you're spending time with him, and it's a time that he'll remember for the rest of his life, whether he gets that scholarship or not. And you know, one of the other fun things that you can do is you can take a look at those statistics and you can say, okay, let's get you to a Nike camp. Let's get you worked out so they can time you, they can weigh you. Let's get you on this. Let's get you ranked. How many stars can we get you here? Maybe you go to St. Bonaventure. Maybe you got a great coach that's going to promote you. Maybe you go to another type of school where the coach doesn't have quite as much time to get you recruited. Don't look to the coach to get your son or daughter recruited. You can go out there and help them to be realistic by looking at their sport, looking online, reading the paper, sharing these stories with them as an equal, really. You're not going to say, gee, little Johnny, you've got to do this and you've got to do that if you ever want to be anything. Much nicer just to say, hey, you know, you said you were interested in playing offensive line in college. Why don't we head down to USC to their one-day camp? You can see what the campus is like, maybe meet the coaches, see the other players. Isn't that a great way to get your son or daughter ready for college? Take them down to one, have them take a look. Well, you know, this is Keith Gunther with Guys Talk Time, and this is a little segment for you on Dad Sense and Mom Sense. So stay tuned for more little tidbits from Guys Talk Time, sports for Ventura County, and how to raise your son or daughter in the greatest place on earth. This is Keith Gunther saying we'll see you soon.